Franchise Secrets, Eric Von Horn.
If you're not a part of the Franchise Secrets Facebook group, what are you waiting for? It's franchisesecrets.com/Facebook. I cannot believe how valuable this group turned out to be. When someone asks a question, the feedback is honest, authentic, very helpful, and it's from multiple perspectives. If you're not sure that you're getting the most accurate information about franchising, then check out the largest, most helpful Facebook group in all of franchising. Whether you're a Z, a Zor, a buyer, or investor, join our free Facebook group at franchisesecrets.com/Facebook. Welcome to the Franchise Secrets Podcast. Eric Van Horn here today talking about the cash flow quadrant. Just a solo episode, just me, nobody else. But this is something that I really enjoy. And if you've heard me hint from time to time or talk a little bit from time to time how I love passive investments, and I have a mastermind called the Tribe of Investors where we bring deals to people and help people get educated on how to mitigate risk and downside and have downside protection to different deals and find really good off-market deals and how to vet them. Then you're going to enjoy this episode because I'm going to be talking about how in the cash flow quadrant, which is Robert Kiyosaki's thing that he kind of coined, you go from self-employed to business owner to investor. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that, my journey along the way, and how you really go to spend the majority, to have the majority of your income come from that last quadrant in the bottom right called investor. So I'm not going to start with employee. The cash flow quadrant, the top left is employee. We all know what an employee is, and most of the people listening to this don't want to be an employee. So we are going to go straight to self-employed. Then I'll talk about business owner. Then I'll talk about investor. And I look way back 20 years ago when I first got started, my goal was to be in the investor quadrant. And I certainly didn't want to stay in the self-employed quadrant. I wanted to get to the business owner quadrant. And I convinced myself I was a business owner when in fact I was probably self-employed. So let's get into it. First of all, self-employed. Let's go back to employee. You're trading time for money. Like you are absolutely trading time for money. If you are just a normal employee that you clock in and you clock out, and that's what you do. Self-employed, that is where your time equals money, like the active work that you put in. There's going to be some leverage to that, but the active work that you put in determines the amount of income that you produce. Now, going over to the business owner quadrant, the business owner, your income does not depend on active work because you have leverage and you have employees that you're leveraging that are making you money, but it still depends on your work. And now in the last quadrant, the investor quadrant, your income does not depend on active work. So that's probably the quadrant that most people want to get to. And in the mastermind, the Tribe of Investors, that's the goal. We want your income to be from the investor quadrant. Now think about this, not necessarily the time that you're spending, but where your income is coming from. If you have income from the investor quadrant that is meeting your monthly expenses, then that you're getting out of the rat race. Now, if you have your income from your investment quadrant where you are not doing anything, your money's making money for you versus your time, and you are making more passive income than your lifestyle, that's the ultimate goal. So then you choose if you want to make more money from the self-employed quadrant or the employee quadrant or the business owner quadrant. It doesn't matter. You're making money there, but your investment quadrant, the money that your money's making for you is more than your lifestyle. So you can choose if you want to be self-employed or a business owner or an employee to continue to have income being produced as a result of your time or a result of employees to be able to put more money into that investor quadrant. So how does this relate to franchising? Self-employed. This is where most franchisees start. And this is where most franchisees are at the end of the day. They stay here. It's really easy to stay in the self-employed quadrant. And one of the reasons is a lot of franchisors like you to spend time there. Why? Because you're focused. Like your time, like nobody's going to do it better than you. And we've talked about that, trading time for money, but nobody's going to do it better than you most of the time. So franchisors love it when you are in that self-employed quadrant, unless there's a lot of expansion that can be done in that brand. Then they want you to go into more of that business owner quadrant. But a lot of franchisees out there get stuck in the trading time for money. Your active work is that self-employed quadrant. So how do you know if you're in that quadrant? Are you the one hiring? Are you the one firing? Are you doing the banking, ordering supplies, doing the marketing, coordinating the marketing? Are you opening or closing the business? If you're doing those types of activities, those are self-employed type activities. And that probably means you don't have a manager. You don't have a key manager. You might have someone titled manager, but you don't have key employees. So the key to getting out of self-employed is having that district operational manager or that operations manager that is a higher level thinker, a higher level doer, and can do a lot of the things better than you can do them from a management standpoint. So spend time go listen to my other podcast that I did on how to get out of your business. Because if you're self-employed, you are in the business. If you're hiring and firing and doing all of that kind of stuff, you're still in the business. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being self-employed. But if you want to get out of there, you will have to do something. And that something is really hire that key employee. So if you don't have a second in command, start thinking about a second in command. And that might, like I said, manager, district operational manager, could be a lot of different titles. This is an area that I spent way too much time in. I thought I was a business owner. I really thought I was a business owner. But at the end of the day, I was self-employed because the amount of active work that I was doing in the business really determined the amount of income, dictated the amount of income that I was making from the business. So now let's move over to business owner. And I think from a franchise standpoint, this is where a lot of us need to get to. And this is where a lot of us will stay if we own a franchise. This is where you'll make a lot of money, where you're leveraging your employees for money. And it's not dependent on your active work. I would say this is where I was with solo salons. I spent an hour a week on that business with some quarterly meetings every quarter, but an hour a week. That was me working on that business, and I was the business owner. So it's you and your director of operation. It's you and your COO. So I really like the business owner because you can make a lot of money in this role. But if you make all your money and you spend all your money on things and not investments, if you're spending your money on liabilities versus cash flowing assets, then you're going to continue to be stuck in this. Or if you're a business owner and you are always in expansion mode, you go from 1 to 3 locations, from 3 to 6 and 6 to 12 and so on and so forth, you're always feeding the business your excess capital, and you are not moving into that investor quadrant because you are expanding your business. And that's just a personal call. Like, how much do you want to be a business owner, and when do you want to start growing that passive income or having your money work for you? And that's just a personal choice. I've done it at different times. I've sold out when I had 3 locations. I've sold out when we had 12 locations, and had air developments with 42 locations when we sold. But I do like selling from time to time because it provides excess capital, a windfall of capital that you can either go blow on liabilities or invest into some incredible cash flowing assets. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. So business owner, that's where probably a lot of people either are or should be. Think about this. A business owner, a good business is a cash cow, and you want that because that feeds that investor quadrant, and you need to feed that investor quadrant. All right. Now we're going to get down to the investor, and this is like the Holy Grail. This is where your passive income that you are not working for, it doesn't matter about your time. You send it once, you wire the money, and you are making money. In some cases, I get monthly distributions from my passive investments. Sometimes it's quarterly. I'm not talking about private equity. I'm not talking about angel investments because I've done that. I'm talking about cash flowing investments here. So, and this is what we do in the tribe of investors. Like, this is the tribe of investor. It should be called the tribe of investor quadrant. I should probably call Robert Kiyosaki and say, hey, you named this wrong. This is the tribe of investors quadrant, because this is what we do in the mastermind. Now, in the mastermind, we have employees that are in there. They are working, they're doctors, they're attorneys, they are working for, we have some that are working for franchisors. We have some that are franchisees that are self-employed right now, or they're business owners. You name it, they're in there because they want to grow this quadrant. And I think that's important. You can be in any of the other three quadrants, but if you want to grow that investor quadrant, then you need to use the excess capital to start investing in those types of deals. And I didn't have a friend of Justin Donald. I didn't have the network that I have today when I first started doing this, but I started. And that's what I encourage you to do. You don't have to join the Tribe of Investor Mastermind to get started. Just start educating yourself on passive investment deals. And I made some good calls and I had some bad calls. What I started with was hotels. I have a hotel in Seattle, in Denver right now. And then I did some luxury apartments, and then some not so luxury apartments, more apartment syndication, rehab, and value add. So I've done those. That's how I got started with passive investing. And those are great. They're not the best. Like, there's better things out there for what I want to do from a cash flow standpoint, but those are good. And I still invest in some of those things. And here's what that looked like. So this was years ago. I invested, and you invest. They do the rehab, or they build the hotel, or they build the apartments, and then they use your money to do that, and then they either refinance it, or they sell it. If they sell it, you get all your money back. If they refinance it, then you get all of your money back, plus whatever the agreed upon rate was that you should have received, that internal rate of return. So you get your money back with interest and with a return, and then you have your chips off the table, and you still remain an owner of the apartment building, of the hotel, or the commercial property, or whatever it is. And so that started happening. I did that a while ago. And here's what's fun about that. You do it. It hurts at first because you write a $100,000 check, a $50,000 check, a $25,000 check, or more. And you put that money to work, and it doesn't start working right away. And you're like, oh my gosh, I hope this was the good thing. And then all of a sudden you forget about it. At least I did. I knew it was in there. I'd see it on the tax return. And then 2 years later, all of a sudden, all that money is coming back to me. And it's coming back with a return. And I still get monthly checks from the particular investment. And I love that. But you just got to get in the game. And that's the point in the investor quadrant. Just get in the game and do it with someone that you trust, and start to learn. Don't get in the game to get rich right away. Do it to learn. And that's what I did. And I ended up putting a significant amount of money in at the time. And I also did angel deals. And when I talk about the investor quadrant, I don't include angel investments in this for me personally. Now, angel deals are like those home runs. You shoot for the stars. Like, this is like, if this goes, this is going to be amazing. And there's a reason why angel investors invest in like 100 deals to get one or two or however many it is that are just amazing. And so if you think you're better than a lot of the angel investors out there, then go ahead, take a crack at it. But I like cash flow investing better than angel deals. I still reserve a part of my portfolio for those angel deals, but not as much as I used to. I've done some commercial property investing with people that knew it. They've done it before, and they had management teams to be able to manage the deal. And that's turned out to be a really good thing, commercial property. And with all of these things, you can be the limited partner, the general partner, and typically in most of these deals, not all of them, but most of them, I've been the limited partner. So very, very hands off. Now, I want to talk about the other deals, like deals that we give to our mastermind members. Unique deals, not retail deals. When I talk about retail deals, those are deals that, you can get on AngelList, or you can find on a website, or, those are retail deals. We might have some incredible retail deals because they've been vetted out and we got some great terms on them. But what we really like, the vast majority of our deals are unique deals that are not retail. Most people don't have access to. If they do, they're ultra wealthy or surrounded by ultra wealthy people. And it's amazing the kind of deal terms, return rates are reserved for the ultra wealthy. So those are the kind of the things that I think about when I think about amazing cash flow investments, and we give our mastermind members opportunity for those. And here's an example: 13% month, 13% APR, annual percentage rate interest. So it's debt, 13%, you're paid, and then it's a 2 or 3 year note. And then you get paid monthly on that right into your bank account. And then in 2 or 3 years, you get your money back. If you put in $100,000, you get $100,000 back into your bank account, and you have equity in that company. So your money's off the table, and then you go and do that again. And then in 6 years, if they're 2-year deals, then you can have possible upside interest in 3 different companies while making really good interest return rates along the way. So I really like deals where there is a debt plus equity. You're getting, 13, 15% interest, and then you get equity in the company. I like those. Another deal, like these are, I'm just giving you examples of deals that most people don't think about when they think about the investment quadrant, because a lot of people think stock market or gold or silver or some of these different things, or, CD. Oh my gosh, if you don't want to make any money, then put it into a CD. So there's things out there that are way better than, from a cash flow standpoint than some of these other asset classes. So there's one asset class that we were able to get in, and they've done a lot of investments. And what they said is, any first-time investor with us, we will 100% guarantee your money. Like if you put $100,000 and the deal goes bust for whatever reason, we guarantee we will give you your capital back. Wow. Like who does that? Well, these guys do that. Do I know a lot of people that do this? No, but they do. And how do I know they do? Because they put it in writing. And they've done it before. Out of many, many deals, they've done that 4 times, because not all deals are guaranteed to do exactly what they say they're going to do. So this is one of their unique abilities is to do that. And then another kind of unique thing that I've seen is if you put in, I'm using $100,000 because they're real round numbers for someone that likes round numbers. So you put in $100,000, and let's say you wanted to, kind of use that more as a holding place or a savings account, getting a really good return. You can give them a notice, maybe like a 30-day notice, and you can pull out half of your capital if you want. So if it's a tax bill that you need to pay, or all of a sudden there's a business opportunity that comes up, or something else happens, or a better deal to take parked money out to put it into a deal that is, incredible, then you can do that with this particular asset class and the way that it's structured. So I just wanted to give all of us here in the franchise world insight into what it's like to put money into the investor quadrant. And again, the goal is to use your excess money as an employee, self-employed, or a business owner to deploy it in the investment quadrant, so you can have your money working for you, not your time, just your money. And you'll have more money out of that than with investments paying for all of your expenses, and ultimately paying for your lifestyle. So I hope you found this interesting, and this has been my journey. And in this mastermind, about half of the people are franchise people, franchise consultants, franchisors, franchisees, franchise vendors, franchise employees. And then the other half are, normal business owners, or they are employees, or some of them are self-employed with a mom and pop business. So I hope this challenges some of you to start spending your time thinking about growing your passive income.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Franchise Secrets Podcast. Whether you're watching or listening, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to whatever channel you're listening on. If you want my help with anything from buying a franchise to franchising your business, please visit franchisesecrets.com.